Welcome to the Worst of the Riot podcast. This is the Best of 2023 edition, episode 3. In today's episode, I see here that we talk about a topic we've come back to several times this year, and that is self-checkouts. And when not to use them, when and when not we prefer them. That's in there. Also, the most popular time to get divorced, as the people are choosing like the best time of year, you know?
We also talk about a type of friend that everyone needs, some job icks, and then saying I love you.
Ooh, and this is important too. A tip that might help your dating profile heading into your New Year's resolution and Valentine's and stuff. There's a good tip in here.
Sounds like if you haven't found a date yet and you used that tip back then, it may not be a very good tip.
That could be true. I'm assuming people missed it because it was a year ago.
True.
And now circling back around, hopefully, for their sake. Enjoy.
We'll catch you guys soon.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
Isaiah, if you had to guess, are men or women more likely to say, I love you first in a relationship?
I think the answer here is men. And that reason is because I don't think we would be talking about this as a story.
Oh, you don't think so, huh?
If it wasn't men.
That's all it comes down to.
That's all it comes down to is I think, just because I think that it would be maybe more, like for me, it's not more surprising, but I feel like for people, you would expect it to be girls because they're always supposed to be more in touch with their emotional side.
Yeah.
So you would expect them to be the first ones to say, I love you.
Uh-huh.
But I'm thinking it must be the men if somebody took the time to write an article about this.
It is a study that was done. It's just been published in the Sage Journal of Social and Personal Relationships. And this was done across 7 different countries, it looks like, where they found in this research that, you're right, men were more likely to say, I love you first in a relationship. So now we know the answer of who is more likely to say, I love you first. But now what we need to know is why men would say it before women. It says here, men on average would consider saying, I love you after 69 days in a relationship, while women wouldn't think about it. It's close until 77 days in the relationship. Now, why would that be?
See, I have like a thought on it of like why I think it might be. Because I feel like maybe the gals are waiting for us to say it first. So then they can say it right away.
Oh, okay. But it says they're not only are men saying it first, but women consider it later than men do.
I wonder why that is.
What could this be? I think, here's one thing I think. I think men, maybe they feel pressure from women. Not that the woman is, they might feel like they need to say it, or that's the end of the relationship at a certain point. You know what I mean? Like they need to come out and say it, or they don't know, who knows what will happen. So they feel pressured to say it earlier.
Have you ever been in a relationship where the gal has said it to you first?
I don't even know if I remember. I know I had one relationship go wrong because I said it first. But
it went off the rails after that?
Yeah, but in my...
no.
No! I was too early. I jumped the gun. But in other relationships, like me and my wife, I don't know who said it first. It was probably me.
It was you.
Yeah, it was probably me.
Yeah, I feel like, I feel like for me, it's always been me.
What about?
It's only been like one time.
What about this, though? Do you think men are more desperate? And so when they finally find a gal, they're like,
man.
I love you.
I love you so much.
I love you, and I don't want to let you go.
Don't leave me, no matter what you do.
Where the woman's like, I got options. Do I love you? Maybe. We'll see.
Could it be you? Could it be somebody else?
Give it 77 days. We'll figure it out.
Maybe I'll wake up again tomorrow morning And I feel differently.
Yeah. Well, I wish they would dive into that in this study. But now we know men are more likely to say, I love you first.
Maybe we should just chill out on it a little bit.
Yeah.
That way we can get our numbers down, boys.
Yeah, we need to work on this average.
Slow it down.
Take it easy.
Stop being so crazy.
Who knows how our fortunes would change?
If you just back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe wait another day. Wait one more week.
Don't seem so eager.
Yeah, come on. Wait one more week and hold off. Let's get these numbers back.
This isn't the worst thing anyone did this year, but it is the worst thing that anyone did on The Riot, 2023's Worst of the Riot.
Now, it's the end of summer. A lot of people today start moving into college, I saw. It's big move-in day.
My brother's moving in this weekend.
There you go. Proves my point. And with the end of summer, also apparently comes the beginning of divorce season.
I'm in danger.
Dangerous time for some.
Yeah, it's trouble. It's trouble right now. Divorce rates consistently peak in August is what I'm seeing here. And so you might be wondering, first of all, why? Why is now the time that couples get divorced? You have any good ideas?
Maybe like the fun of the summer is coming to an end. Reality is setting back in, that they don't go to, they don't live at the lake house.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get on a boat every weekend. The winter is coming. You're going to be trapped inside with this person for a long period of time where you guys are just going to be watching movies together, and maybe you no longer want that.
Yeah, maybe many times it's easier to get along when you're out and about doing fun stuff, but then when it's just back to the humdrum home life, you start to realize this isn't the person that you want to spend so much time with. According to experts, they say that couples often think that summer will help them rekindle their relationship with extra bonding time. But that often only emphasizes the issues that are bubbling beneath the surface in a marriage. Also, it says family vacations are often over, so it's not going to disrupt any of that. And it's about as far enough away. It's the end point between vacations and the holidays.
Yeah.
And that factors in as well. Let me ask you this. This is when most people get divorced, when most people end things. But what do you think is the best time if you're going to split up?
Tough to say. I think it depends on how far along you are in the process.
Mm-hmm.
If you're fairly certain, and this goes for just like regular breakups too, especially regular breakups, actually, I lean more into rather than divorces because that's a little bit more complex, a little bit more serious.
Yeah, right.
But just
I don't know. We don't have any experience with that.
Yeah, so just like with actually ending regular relationships, I think if you're fairly certain it's going to end, then the best time to do it is like in March.
Okay, and why is March
the best
time?
Because I think you're going to be, like, if you do it right before the winter time, the winter is when everybody's the most lonely. Like, you're inside by yourself, so that transition period where you're, like, trying to, like, figure out doing your own thing in a relationship, I just feel like the wintertime is when I'm the most sad. Mm-hmm. And so that post-breakup, whether you're the one who does it or not, there's still sadness that goes with that. So if you're doing that in January, I mean, January is a depressing month. You're just, like, sitting inside all the time. But if you do it in, like, March, then you're planning everything out for the summertime. You can plan everything out for you and not for, like, you and someone else. So you can plan out vacations and stuff with your friends and give yourself things to do. Going to the pool, having outdoor activities. There's always lots of stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
And so that's a good time to kind of get over a breakup is during the summertime. So maybe March, it's in that sweet spot. You can be sad for like 2 months, but then you can have the summer that you really wanted.
To me, I think this is going to be, it's close to the same time as you, but different. I think January. And I'll tell you why. Because I think you don't want to, I think through the holidays, what's worse? Going to the holidays with somebody you don't really get along with, but then at least I always feel like with couples, they say you're supposed to have a common goal. A lot of times your common goal at family stuff around the holidays can be like both being upset together at the other people in the family. And so you get through that, and then you hit January. But what would be worse? Going to the holidays all alone that you just went through a breakup? That's not going to be fun for you. So you wait it out till January, and then boom, you have January. you can go through Valentine's Day. You'll feel real good as a guy. You'll be like, hey, everybody else spending all this money, doing all this stuff for me.
I'm sure you won't miss your girl at all.
Yeah. If you're the one breaking up, if you've made up your mind,
that doesn't mean that you're just immune to sadness.
No, but if you've made up your mind, you put it behind you by then, and then that time you're feeling good, and then the springtime comes along, and all of a sudden you're ready to either plan a solo summer, which can be possibly fun, or you're that's prime time for finding a new match. So I say January.
January gives you 6 months to figure it out before the summer.
That's right.
2024 can't get here soon enough. 2023's Worst of the Riot.
We're talking Steve Carell useless knowledge today because yesterday was his birthday. And so I asked the crowd where he attended college, where he attended university.
Yeah.
And we got some texts in.
Okay.
Have you looked at the text?
No.
Good, because we have some correct answers in the text.
Uh-oh.
Stephanie, correct. Rod, correct as well.
Nice.
My mom texted me, also correct.
So people just know this.
Yes, people know this. So let's see if you also can get it right.
All right. I don't know how I would possibly know this, but I'll tell you that for whatever reason, one school instantly jumped to mind, and that school is Michigan State.
Good guess. What? Unfortunately, incorrect. This one was for our RadioU Columbus folk.
Okay.
It's a small school called Denison University.
Oh, I've seen that.
On the east side of Columbus in Granville, Ohio, which was right over near where I grew up.
Uh-huh.
And so that's well-known knowledge where I'm from.
You think he's the most famous alumnus?
From Denison?
Yeah.
I would probably say yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet.
There's not a lot more household names that are bigger than Steve Carell.
Does he ever come back?
I don't know.
Do like events?
It's not like it's literally like 10 minutes away from where I grew up.
You think at some point
I've
he'd
never
have to
heard
do
him like Steve Carell coming to the east side of Columbus.
He'd have to do like a commencement at some time, right?
Yeah, you'd have to think so.
Or maybe even he's too big. All right, let's do more.
Let's do some more Steve Carell rapid fire. What odd instrument is Carell well known for playing?
Does he play this in like any movies or anything?
I'm not sure. I've never even heard of this instrument.
So it's probably not saxophone then.
No.
Wait for it. Here it comes.
Hey, we have some perfect drops for
I know, right?
today.
The instrument I'm looking for was the fife.
Oh, okay.
Next question. What is Brick Tamlin, which is the character that Steve Carell plays in Anchorman?
Yeah.
His girlfriend's name in Anchorman 2.
Oh, I know who plays her, but I don't know. Stacy?
No! No! Her name was Chani.
Yeah.
Next, in Horton Hears a Who, Steve Carell was cast alongside Isla Fisher. What movie did Isla Fisher star as one of their protagonists in the role of a character named Beans?
Wedding Crashers. What? It's the only movie I can think of with her in it.
The answer I was looking for there was Rango. What familiar Steve Carell character have I mentioned many a times on the show as a character that I myself could voice over?
It's the squirrel from Over the Hedge.
Hammy.
Yeah,
The squirrel
Hammy.
from Over the
Got
Hedge.
it. Yep.
And the final question.
Unrecognizable in that role, by the way.
Yeah, of course. He is like in almost every role. He's unrecognizable in this one as well. Carell is also the voice of Gru in Despicable Me.
Yeah, of course.
Who is Gru's assistant in the movies? Dr. something.
Oh, man. I don't know. Flaverston.
I was looking for Dr. Nefario.
Oh, yeah, that's a good name.
You were pretty close with Flaverston.
Yeah, I was on the right track.
Well, that's your Steve Carell useless knowledge for the day.
Useless knowledge. That feels a little more useful than many others.
Didn't that feel pretty good?
Yeah, I think so.
Hammy the squirrel, Chani, the fife, Denison.
There could be somebody
Rango.
at Denison listening right now that's really proud.
Yeah, it's a big day.
Yeah, big day.
Most people wouldn't want this clip played again, but Hudson and Isaiah aren't most people. The Riot's worst of 2023.
And how about some dating advice on this Valentine's Day?
Oh, not today.
Why not?
It's too late. It's Valentine's Day.
It is too late. If you don't have a date by now,
It's not going to happen today.
it's too late for you. I do wonder, how much do you think dating app activity goes down, like starting today?
Oh, I think today
You think
probably
it-
down, but tomorrow massively
Yeah,
high.
you think it
Yep.
like plummets because people are just like, whatever. If it didn't work out, now it's too late. Well, if you are not going to eschew the dating apps starting now, I've got one tip for you. If you want to if you want to be more likely to get a date, here's what you got to do: have a dog in your dating profile.
Oh, yeah, that's been talked about.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
I've got a new survey here.
Just make it your dog.
Of British adults that says that 2/3 of people are more likely to match with somebody that has a dog in their profile picture. And because of, for those people, 6 in 10, 60% say they believe owning a dog is a good sign that a person is ready to settle down into a committed relationship.
Do you have Jim in your profile, or is he just like in one of your featured pics?
He's all over the place.
He's all
Yeah.
over.
I've got Jim in a sweater on there. I've got some comments about Jim. I've got another photo of Jim.
And it hasn't worked yet.
Oh, no, he's a killer on there. I mean, he is my most popular
But
whole
he's
aspect of the
probably,
profile.
maybe the people you're matching with feel tricked, though, because it's about, they say that the dog is a good sign that someone's ready to settle down in a committed relationship. And then they start talking to you.
And they're like, this guy, he's no good.
Uh-huh.
This
He's all
dog's
over the
clearly a
place.
sham.
Or they find out you spanked your dog.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
but
just no good.
I do think this is helpful information, though, of course. And so, but the problem is there's a lot of people out there that don't have dogs to put in their dating profile picture, which is why I'd like to come to you two guys with a business venture.
Ooh, so owe us some
And
extra
that is
money?
where we loan out our dogs for dating profile picture shoots.
Have you taken a picture with your dog? Do they like to sit still for a
No,
photo?
definitely not.
Our dogs are not the one.
Yeah,
Your
no,
best
but
bet would be go to a dog park. We call it the Bark Park.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go there and you just meet. Oh, that'd be so weird, right? Can I take a picture with your dog?
I would say no.
And they're like,
which is
"What?"
why you have to have people like us that will loan our dogs to you
We
for
can
the right
facilitate
price.
it.
And then
But-
after the first date, you're
And-
like, I kind of want to meet your dog. And you're like, nah, actually, no. It'd probably be best if we didn't meet our
No, you
dog.
say the dog passed away.
Dog's gone. I'm sorry.
That's
Or
the
you
worst.
can explain, and this comes with the service, that actually that dog belongs to a friend of mine, but I just thought he or she was so cute that
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
what? That I
If
thought I'd
you
take a picture. I
use-
was dog sitting. Dog sitting, you
Oh,
can
you're
say.
dog sitting? You put that in your
Yeah.
profile picture on
Yeah.
Hinge?
This is, I was
No.
dog sitting for my friend Hudson. Oh, where was Hudson? Hudson
That's a
was
catfish.
in the Cayman Islands.
Islands.
Yeah, that's right, the Cayman Islands. And then I will back up your story that you dog sat Zafira the dog while I was in the Cayman Islands.
I don't
Catfish.
know. Remember, if you just start adding lies upon lies upon lies, it's hard. It'll unravel one day.
Unless you've got someone to back them up.
and you're
like
the
me.
one.
I think
I
if
will-
you're looking for a good relationship, you probably shouldn't lead off with a lie. That's why I just come out front with it. I say I have one of the worst dogs in all of Ohio, all of the United States, all of anywhere. I have one of the worst dogs. That way, when they meet him, they won't expect that he's going to be like cute and nice. I just tell them off the rip, he's terrible.
It's awful. You're like, I'm just looking for a mom for my dog.
I'm
my badly behaved
looking for some
dog.
support here.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it.
I'm struggling as a single father.
Well, if you want to change your profile pic, wait till tomorrow. Valentine's Day is not worth it. Just
No.
come out strong tomorrow and it'll be fine.
And my service still stands,
If
even though
you
Nikki and
want.
Isaiah are not supportive.
I got some pretty cute dogs. You are welcome to try. They just really don't like photos.
Let this serve as inspiration to make better choices in the new year. The Riot's worst of 2023.
Here's the scenario. We've got a wedding that was supposedly ruined. The way the wedding was ruined was the bride and groom in their invitations had a strict no white dress code. That's that's kind of standard. I don't know if it's always spelled out, but it's standard, right? You don't wear white to a wedding.
Yes.
That's especially, well, yeah, you don't wear white to a wedding. But at the reception, the bride had gotten very upset. And the reason that she had got very upset is because she had noticed that the 6-year-old nephew of the groom was wearing white. This 6-year-old nephew did not adhere to the strict no white dress code, which I would have to imagine means his parents dressed him in something white. I don't think 6-year-olds are probably dressing themselves. And so she actually threatened to kick this 6-year-old out of the wedding entirely, out of this reception. Get out of here, kid. Try to horn in on my big day by wearing white. Don't you know that there's a strict no white dress code? Apparently, because this was the groom's nephew, and the wife, the now wife, was complaining. They're still married. She was complaining. He called her insecure and selfish.
Well, that's kind of wild.
On their big day. He had to pull that one out.
Apparently, the nephew was wearing white jeans and a white bow tie.
And that's too much, huh?
Ooh.
How cute must he have looked?
I bet he looked
for it
good.
to be a problem.
He must have been getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think, and if he's wearing a different shirt, he wasn't wearing a white shirt, white bow tie, and white pants.
Of course.
He had white jeans on with a white bow tie, huh?
So it sounds like that's what I'm hearing.
I think, for me personally, I get the whole not wearing white thing. But isn't that more of like a girl's dress?
Yeah, because you don't want to be like, because you don't want somebody who's on the fringes of the wedding going, well, who's the one getting married now?
Yeah, exactly. But for a guy, like when any guy goes to a wedding, what color dress shirt do you wear? You're wearing a white dress shirt.
You can wear white, yeah.
I wore a white dress shirt to my brother's wedding. I was in the wedding. And what happens when we hit the dance floor? I take the gray jacket I had off.
You got to take that off.
I slip it off.
Don't want it restricting your motion, your range of motion.
I've got a white shirt on, like 75% of the men on the dance floor.
Yep.
In gray pants. So had this young kid, the 6-year-old, had he been wearing, instead of white jeans, like gray slacks or something, with a white dress shirt, there's no way nobody was wearing a white dress shirt at this, right?
It's hard to picture. Hard to picture that.
Since this is the go-to dress shirt, so I think that she's in the wrong.
Yeah, but
she's freaking out for no reason.
He did call her insecure and selfish.
But that was a bad move on his part. I wouldn't have said all that.
Yeah, on your wedding day.
I would have been like, don't let this ruin your big day. This silly thing, who cares? That does sound kind of insecure and selfish. I won't lie.
It does. He's not wrong, but on the wedding day, you need some tact. You can mince words on wedding days, I think. And he could have done that for sure. Now they are still married, but since the wedding, apparently they have not spoken, and she's been staying with her mother.
Because of that.
Because he called her insecure and selfish.
Oh.
I'm hearing even more insecure
so
behavior to me.
It does sound insecure and selfish with the whole you're yelling at a 6-year-old to get him to change.
Yeah.
Trying to kick him out of the wedding. You're trying to kick a 6-year-old out of a wedding. That alone is bad enough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't be...
She should have... You know what she should have done?
What should she
have done? She should have went and spilled the drink on his pants.
Smart.
Yeah, that would have shown him, right?
Show that kid. Show that little kid.
Oh, I'm sorry. And who's going to get mad at you? It's your big day.
Yeah, no one's getting mad at you. He's a little kid.
Yeah. And now look at him. That'll show him. That'll teach him a lesson.
Get him out of here.
You want to wear white to a wedding?
On my big day? White jeans? White pants, for a guy anyway, that's bad as is. You shouldn't be wearing those in general.
I don't know. He must have looked good.
He must have looked darn good.
Somehow, what you're about to hear is nowhere near as bad as Jim the dog's behavior this year. 2023's Worst of the Riot.
Melbourne, Australia. Let's hop over there where a man was caught. This is no good. A man was caught lighting small fires around the area. Now,
Sounds silly.
Why would you do that? That right there, you just have to ask why. What purpose? That's dangerous. Not only could, that's how wildfires start. You bring a country to its knees doing that.
Sounds like something like a 10-year-old would do.
Yeah.
That they just found out how to use a lighter.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, you know what? I'm going to catch some things on fire. If you're an adult starting fires, you're just an idiot.
Randomly, yeah. That's already a problem right there. He lit a fire in a loading dock behind a school, in a car park, it looks like, or like a parking lot, and outside a real estate agent's office, as well as in several trash cans. He covered a lot of ground, it sounds like. But not only was he lighting fires, which the police caught up to him and arrested him for, but when they arrested him, they also searched him and found live ducklings in his underwear.
Why? Why?
And
I
how?
don't understand why.
And how?
In his underwear, not in his shorts.
Mm-hmm.
In his underwear.
In his actual underwear, yes.
I like to call that the danger zone.
That's
how
for
many
sure.
live ducklings?
Dangerous for those ducklings. How many live ducklings? They found 2. He had 2 hidden in there.
It makes no sense to me. This story makes no sense to me.
In Australia,
He's lighting fires with ducklings in his pants.
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, do it.
Gonna try to figure this out. You know what time of year it is in Australia? It's opposite, right? Does that mean it's winter there?
I'll check.
I imagine that if it is wintertime, maybe it's chilly. That explains why you would light a bunch of fires. You're cold. Also, maybe the ducks, I imagine them being all fuzzy as they are. Maybe they're real warm. Maybe some nice insulation for you.
It says it's 70 today.
70?
Yeah.
So not that.
It's not that.
That doesn't check out.
It doesn't. No.
Just trying to play devil's advocate here and to try to reason.
Are you going to try to justify a man having ducklings in his pants?
I'm not going to.
Is that what you're doing?
I'm not going to excuse it. I'm just trying to
figure out.
Yeah.
His thought process.
Especially let's think if he's going to have a lawyer, right?
What is that lawyer going to?
How is that lawyer going to? I imagine
attack that case.
Probably just a guilty plea is what I would have to imagine, or maybe insanity.
That could be a good one.
Yeah.
Considering he was he was caught catching small fires. Is it a crime having ducklings in your pants?
Well, he's being charged with animal cruelty.
There we go. Thank goodness.
Yeah. I think having any animal in your underwear, that feels cruel to the animal.
Yeah, you don't want it in there.
They don't want to be in there. I don't think they asked for that. Do you think the ducklings were fully submerged, or were their heads peeking out? Like he was using it as a way to transport
like a fanny
them.
pack kind of feel?
I think they were. Maybe on each of his hips he had a duckling head.
I think they were fully submerged. Which makes it even worse.
Yeah, I feel bad. Probably didn't smell good in there.
I can only imagine.
Those poor ducklings.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, they made it out unscathed, apparently. Safe from the fire, too.
You're listening to the Riot's Worst of 2023.
Now, Isaiah, you shared something with me here that's actually pretty interesting. It is 5 types of friends that every person should have.
Yes. I like this a lot.
You do.
Because I think this is a good thing for everybody this morning, a therapeutic thing for us to go through together.
To figure out if we have all these 5 friends.
On your way into work, you can kind of do a little reflection period.
Some self-evaluation.
To see maybe there's a hole in your life, in your friendship circle. Can we analyze it? Maybe work on it.
All right. Well, let's go through. Number 1, close friends. Everyone needs close friends.
People you've known for many years, been with you through the ups and downs.
Got it.
Next.
Yes, I've got that as well. Somehow, close friends is meaningfully different, according to this, than lifelong friends.
Could be different.
How could you have a lifelong friend that's not close?
I think your lifelong friends are close friends. Or maybe also, lifelong friends could be someone that you could call upon. Like, I have lifelong friends that I don't talk to every day.
Yeah.
But I can call upon them at any time.
If you need a favor.
If I need anything.
Yeah.
And I have a lifelong friend who I don't talk to every day. I'm in his wedding in like a month, but I know that every time I see him, it's gonna be normal. Like, we're never gonna have an awkward period.
Yeah.
It's just not how it works. We've been friends since we were like 4 years old.
Yep. I've got a friend like that too, but I would consider that a lifelong friend and close friend. I think lifelong friends are probably gonna be close friends, but close friends may not be lifelong friends. Next up on the list, friends of convenience.
Oh.
So this could be friends that are like just convenient in your life right now. Maybe they happen to be your next door neighbor.
That's a good one.
Or just maybe they're somewhere where you frequently hang out as well, so you see them all the time anyways.
You're forced to talk to them.
You may be. I mean, you're not forced because then they'd be more of an acquaintance at that point, right? But friends of convenience, where you happen to see them, and then when you do see them, since you're frequently crossing paths, it's good to have somebody that you actually get along with.
Yes, that way when you go to those places, you always have someone to talk to.
Yeah, because it makes sense if you're going to, what's a good example? If you're going to
maybe a place maybe like a restaurant that you frequent all the time, maybe somebody else who goes there too.
If
you always see them there.
Yep, that I've had people like that. If you're going there alone all the time, and you don't see, you might be less likely to keep going there.
Yeah, or you go to the dog park friends.
Yep.
If you go to the dog park frequently, you have friends that go at the same time as you. Those are convenience friends.
All right. I think your convenient friends could also roll into work friends.
Need to work on those.
You don't have... No, I think it's important to have a work friend. Because I've had jobs where if you don't have somebody who's kind of on the same page as you, where you can both complain about all the same stuff, gossip about the same people, whatever, and just, have somebody who's actually going through the struggle of work life with you, it's just not the same as going home and telling your significant other about it or whatever.
Like, how much can you complain to your significant other before she's like, I get it, all right?
And they're just not going to understand either because they're not there doing it with you.
Like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You should see Nene in the afternoons. He drives me crazy. No, I'm joking.
I hope to have a work friend one day. And then finally, the same chapter of life friend. That's interesting. That's an under-discussed one, I would say.
As you move through different phases of life, it's important to be supported by others who are experiencing the same struggles. And so it's like, as you're moving through, maybe if you're going from like college into the working world into trying to get, like, maybe you're having like a girlfriend, a wife, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, especially with like girls and stuff, a lot of the girls I know, they get married at the same time as their friends a lot of times, and then they're all going through that process together.
Yeah, no, because it's definitely true. If you're the one married friend of the group or the one single friend of the group, then that's weird. So you need to, like, it doesn't mean you can't ever hang out, but it is helpful to have people on the same page as you, or like, I'm sure once you have kids, then if you're the one friend in the group that has kids or that doesn't, that's weird. So you do need some people that are on the same page as you in the same spot in life, financial, all this stuff. So it all makes sense.
And the final thing it says is you may not feel like you have a lot of friends, but it says that one friend can fill all these roles.
Of course.
And so even if you have just one person that maybe you work with, that's a lifelong friend. Like, I mean, you don't have to have 17 different friends to fill these. I mean, you could have 3 friends to fill all five of these.
There you go.
But if you don't have some of these, maybe work on it.
Yeah.
Make a work friend today. I know I need one.
I'm sure going to try.
Worst of the Riot 2023.
The question is, what is the dumbest reason you've ever left a job? Whether it's because you quit, because you resigned, because you were...
Never came back.
You terminated your own employeeship. What is the number of reasons you've left the job? I've got a story from my mom, first of all, who says that this is why this all came up. There's a bit more of a backstory, but basically there was an employee at her place of work that nobody liked.
Yeah, but it wasn't her.
It wasn't her, but for several reasons. But one of the main reasons was, for some reason, even though this is an office, everybody's got their own phone on their own desk. Then there's the person, like the front desk person, that would take the calls and transfer them to whoever. And for some reason, this guy would always have his calls transferred to other people's desks, and then he would walk to their desks, sit on their desk, and answer the phone, talk on the phone. But that's not the only problem. He smelled so bad.
Aw.
And then that
BO
smell would stay on your phone, your desk phone.
Oh, no.
After he left. And so that was enough for my mom to say, I'm done here.
Did she tell him why?
I don't think so.
See,
I don't think she did.
I couldn't be that confrontational. I would have just left.
Yeah.
I left because you smell. Seems a little
Because he
harsh.
smells
Yeah, it
bad.
does,
That
but I
is a
mean-
pretty dumb reason.
And also the phone thing, if he's doing like a power trip thing or something.
He was definitely a weird guy for several reasons, but that was the last straw, was the smelling
Aw.
bad.
Hudson's mom's way to stand up for yourself
Yeah,
and
that's
get out of
right.
there.
That's right. She moved on to better things.
Well, Eric was texting in, said when he was 14, he did carts at Kroger, and he was accused of stealing cigarettes. And so he was like, hey, where am I hiding it? And they couldn't give him an answer, so he just left. He just quit.
Well, you
Nice.
probably smoked them all, Eric. I don't believe you at all.
You burn them down, baby.
I don't believe you at all. Kroger was right to be suspicious.
Eric Hudson found a flaw in your argument.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chad texted and said, Isaiah, to quit, resign, and leave is to do the same. So he does not agree with your statements earlier. And Grace had a lot of seasonal jobs, and with those, you just don't come back the next year. So you don't have to officially quit.
That takes some of the pressure off,
Yeah, the
doesn't
problem
it?
out of it.
You could really suck at your job and not have to worry. You
just-
really phone it in.
They'll never see you again.
Yeah. I also have my wife. She has a couple. One, she left one of her jobs to move here and marry me. That's not a dumb
That's
reason.
a
I don't
dumb
know
reason.
What it is.
Isaiah, is that quitting, resigning, or leaving?
Oh, that's quitting. That's straight up quitting.
And she also had a job where she worked at a department store at a mall, and she didn't like working there. They knew she didn't like working there, but they're like, just hang on. They kept telling her, like, hang on for a little while longer.
Like it'll get better?
Yeah, or we're going to give you a raise when it comes up time. Like, if you can stay till
They
whatever the
love
month.
dangling that, don't
Yeah,
they?
whatever the month mark is, we'll give you a raise. And so she did stick it out until that raise hit. You know how much the raise was?
Was it a penny?
$1.
10 cents an hour.
10 cents?
Yeah. And so she quit right there.
Yeah, man, I'd have a big fit.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know how much the raise would have to be, but it definitely have to be more than 10 cents.
Well, if you're going through something at where you're working at and you don't know how to get out of it, you don't know how to leave or quit, we can pass along Hudson's mom's information and she can come in and quit for you.
Yeah. Oh, she'd be great at that. Wouldn't that be a great service?
Oh, you bring your own mom in.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Or like your grandmother.
Go out in a blaze of glory.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
She just comes in and just starts yelling for hurting her grandbaby.
She's like, everybody here stinks. Like, you all smell bad. That's why my son quit.
Yeah.
Yes, that'd be so easier.
8772 Radio U if you've got a good quitting story.
2023's Worst, The Riot, Radio U.
Do you think this is possible, Isaiah, for somebody's job to give you the ick?
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
If you're scrolling through, not Tinder because you're banned, but Hinge or Bumble or whatever apps you use, you see their occupation, you go, that's a note from me.
Yes, I think it can be a nick.
All right.
Depending on what it is. But there's many jobs where you look at, and my friends have talked about this before too, for their jobs. They're like, I don't like telling girls my job
Because they're afraid it's an ick?
because they don't like, they say girls don't like it.
Do you think, first of all, if you are aware that you have a job like that, can't you just kind of like cook the books, wordsmith it a little bit to come up with a way of introducing what you do with being honest, but not necessarily clearly explaining it?
Usually I say that I'm a professional minor league baseball player
You do.
because nobody knows any of them.
That's true. But wouldn't she catch on when you don't ever have to play a game?
I'm out of season. I'm on the IR right now. I'm banged up.
Yeah. Recovering. So what jobs would you say? Let's call some people out. What are some jobs that would give you the ick?
Me personally, I don't know if I have any that I'm like heavily against.
Uh-huh.
That I see there and right off the rip, because there's positives and negatives. Like nurses, they got a great schedule. 3 days a week they work. They work like 3/12s.
But they could also work overnight and stuff like that.
Yeah, which
And then
obviously
they sleep all day.
isn't ideal for me because I go to bed early.
Uh-huh.
And I get off early, so it just doesn't work as well.
Mm-hmm. But that's not an ick, though.
Not an ick, but you know what the ick is?
What's that?
Is I've never met a nurse that hasn't told you she's a nurse within the first 3 seconds of the conversation. Unfortunately, I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh. That's the first one that comes to mind? Anything
That is
else?
the first one that comes to mind every time.
Because I've started looking up here of what other people might think are employment icks.
And you know what another one is?
What's that?
People would say DJ.
Would they say that?
Go DJ. Yeah. They would. I mean, 100%. If I met a girl, that's why I don't say this. If I met a girl and I was like, yeah, I'm a DJ. How you like me now? They would say, walk away, sir.
Well, first of all,
good thing I'm not a DJ.
They're going to, because they're going to think, if you say DJ, because I've experienced this so many times in life, they think what do you do, the turntables?
You disc jockey in it?
You do a party every Saturday night?
You do weddings or no?
Yeah, right. We do, actually, but that's not really that's not exactly what we are. So, yeah, DJs go, how about, this is tough. Somebody said influencer.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is tough. They say they influence nothing and are sheep following the crowds. Yeah, that's all true, but the problem is you don't get to be an influencer without being pretty cute, though. So it's a give and take kind of situation.
True.
Any other ideas come to mind?
One of my friends always complained because he works in a factory, and he never brings that up. There's nothing wrong with working in a factory.
No. That's pretty good work.
He just says it's not really like a sexy job.
No.
And then they ask what kind of factory, and he has to say I make soup cans.
Yeah, I think it's more.
And then
I don't think that's winning over many hearts.
It's not a good transition.
No, even though he probably makes good money doing that.
He does solid, yeah.
What about this? This is another good one. This is great. Politicians. Not that I was ever in the market to be dating a politician, but your personal life and your professional life is just going to cross over in ways that I wouldn't be comfortable with. That's an ick. It doesn't matter. We could have 100% the same actual beliefs, but having to do political events and
But Hudson,
do all the meetings.
You're not thinking about this right.
Why?
The fame. This would be great for your career.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Yeah.
The good news is the Riot is on vacation now. The bad news is that doesn't mean you get a break from them. This is the Riot's Worst of 2023.
Have you seen this? It's actually been taken down off of TikTok, I guess, because it got too popular, too controversial. The couple that wrote up a long-distance relationship contract. It is, it got over 1.8 million views before they decided to take it down because, I don't know, I guess their notifications were just popping off. But we have a guy and a gal here. They're in a long-distance relationship. And let me share with you some of the notes, some of the stipulations in this contract that they both signed. See what you make of it. Violation. Well, first of all, by signing the agreement, you acknowledge the following terms. Neither party is allowed to end the relationship until September 1st, 2024, unless there's a breach of one of the violations listed below.
September 1st of next year. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
uh-huh.
So 1 year.
Yep, you got 1 year. Violation 16, cheating. Violation 17, slander against either party, including in this contract. And that includes complaining about the relationship, speaking poorly about your partner, etc. Violation 18, neglect of participating parties' emotional or physical state. How can that be proven?
That seems kind of objective there.
Yeah. It says in the contract, all issues with the opposing party are required to be brought to the attention of the party in question. Arguments must result in a resolution, apology, and closing action of affection And long distance will require a gift of some sort to be ordered to each party's house to put an end.
They must not argue much.
I guess not.
Because that would be a lot of gifts.
This is a tough one for some people. Location must always be turned on. Every call seen must be answered. They must call at least once a day. Keep in continuous contact throughout the day. Always give extra reassurance. And it goes on. And people are divided about whether this is like amazing or psycho. What do you think? You've been in a long-term or a long-distance relationship, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do something like this?
Did I ever get a contract?
No, I mean, if you did, you probably would have gone viral. I mean, would you, though?
I would never go to this length of signing a form or anything.
Uh-huh.
This seems extra to me, but that might just be how their couple is.
Seems like
how
it.
their duo is. But I don't see anything wrong with what they did. Seems fine to me. I'm unbothered by it. I think it's a little bit extra.
Yeah.
This all seems pretty self-explanatory of a long-distance relationship anyway.
Yeah.
Everything they said, it's not like they're saying anything crazy.
No, nothing is too egregious, but it does, it just depends on how often you want to keep in touch, what your level of talking to each other is.
Usually, if you're living far apart,
yeah,
you think talking once a day is pretty...
That's standard.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah. But to have it all written out as if you breach that, if you miss a day, then that could be... Then you have to go through the next legal avenue,
which is
to
the end of the
resolve it,
relationship.
which means sending the other one a gift because you don't talk to them one day. It sounds like that's kind of tough. It just feels like a lot. So if you're in a long distance relationship and the gal brings this to you, are you signing?
It's fine with me.
That's fine with you?
Because I know it doesn't actually mean anything. What does this mean? What happens? If I slander you, then what? You break up with me. Oh, no. If I slander you...
As if that wouldn't happen anyway.
Exactly. Whether I sign that contract or not, if I neglect the participating party's emotional or physical state, whether I sign that thing or not, it should be the same result. I guess you're breaking up with me. So if you want me to sign this thing, we can sign it.
It's also been pointed out that it's not notarized, so it's not legally binding anyways.
And if I want to break up with you before September 1st of next year, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it anyway.
2024 can't get here soon enough. 2023's Worst of the Riot.
How would you feel if this happened to you, Isaiah? I have a person, it's a waitress. She posted on Reddit a receipt that she got where she didn't get a tip. And the reason she didn't get a tip is because she asked a couple if they'd like to split the bill.
Okay.
Coming up to the end of the night, the end of the dinner. Would you, hey, how are you guys? Is this all on one check? And apparently that rubbed the man the wrong way. And so he struck out when it was tip time, struck out the area with the tip, and then wrote a note that said, very insulted that you asked my wife if we wanted separate checks. What would you do? How insulted would you feel if you were out on a date and the waiter or waitress did that to you?
I would 0%.
Zero?
I mean, they do that every time. Is it together or separate? Together or separate? Together or separate?
I don't know if I've ever had that happen on a date. But
where they ask if it's together?
Yeah. Where they ask if it's separate. I don't know if I've had that.
I've gotten it every time I've went on a date.
Oh. Well, I must have a much more commanding personality than you.
Well, it's different as well. If you it just kind of, I feel like it depends to how the dates like how it looks when they walk up.
Yeah.
But I've been asked every single time that I go and sit across from anyone. I went out to eat with my aunt recently. I went out to eat with girls recently.
Yeah.
And every time I go, they say, "Is it together?" Because they want it to be together. They don't want it to be separate.
Yeah,
obviously.
it's easier for them.
Yeah, they just say, "Is it together?"
Yeah,
and then you have to say it's separate.
This is all in one check.
Yeah.
Is the line I always hear.
It's a standard line.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've heard it a million times. I just usually in a dating scenario, I don't think that's ever come up. However, if it were to come up, zero insult whatsoever. It's just polite. It's just, how do they know? How are they supposed to know? Is it rude to assume at this point that people are on a date? You don't know what their relationship could be.
Mm-hmm.
A man and a woman can't be friends, can't be related. I don't know why this guy took such offense to it, but I have a good guess. And that's because the woman said she didn't, the waitress said she didn't assume that they were dating, that they were together, because he seemed to be in his late 50s or early 60s, and this woman was much younger, the woman that was his wife, evidently. And so she just assumed, she didn't assume that they were together. It sounds like he might be a little insecure.
Yeah, clearly if he didn't leave a tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to this guy. I mean, that is just standard restaurant going. He must not go out much.
Maybe not, yeah.
He must not go out much, because I think just about every time I get asked that. So for him not to leave a tip too, it was $65.80. I mean, he's just a jerk.
He probably was just looking for an excuse to not give a tip.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't want this clip played again, but Hudson and Isaiah aren't most people. The Riot's worst of 2023.
It's called Remote Kiss. It is now available in China, which means I'm sure if you desperately wanted it, you'd be able to buy it online somewhere and get it shipped here to the United States. Remote Kiss, you might be able to gather from the name. It's a way for you to kiss somebody that's not in the same room as you right now.
So they have one on their end?
They have a remote kiss on. It attaches to your phone. It docks into your phone.
Yeah.
And it's a pair of lips and silicone lips. And so if you have it and then your partner, whoever else you want to kiss far away, also has it, and you plug them into your phone and like you connect with the app or whatever, and then supposedly it's like you're kissing each other because it has sensors that tell what the other person supposedly is doing.
Sure.
The temperature of their lips.
It moves the lips.
It moves it the way that their lips are supposed to be moving. And so if you have like a long distance relationship,
Yeah.
or maybe your partner is off on a business trip or something like that, it's still a way for you to be able to, check in, kiss each other, be intimate, and be able to do that over a long distance.
$41.
I thought it was gonna be more
$41.
money.
Yeah, it seems like it could be
I don't
more
know.
expensive. What do we
It's-
think about it?
It's weird. But I also have not been in a long distance relationship, so I don't know, the heart misses and all that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but
I
there's
don't know.
easy way to avoid that, and that's
Not
being in a long distance relationship.
Sometimes you can't help it, though, like with work especially.
I just don't think that this is. I showed this to my wife last night, and we kind of agreed. It's just like it wouldn't be the same, right?
You don't think so?
I don't think
weird.
I don't think there's a way it could be the same. It's not her lips. It's silicone lips. Her lips
Yeah,
aren't.
it's
My
odd.
wife's lips aren't silicone.
There's no tongue either. If
No.
anyone was
You need a
wondering.
tongue.
You need that tongue in there.
You definitely need
I
a
think
tongue.
it would make it more realistic if there was a
It
tongue.
just got worse.
I think if you
It
had the
got
tongue,
worse.
then maybe be worth the $41.
It's not realistic. It's just
No.
not realistic without the tongue.
And it's even grosser.
Yeah, I don't know how they would simulate that.
But again, if you haven't been in probably a long distance relationship, you don't know, if you miss
How
somebody.
desperate.
Yeah,
You
but
got to be pretty desperate.
I feel like it should be more expensive, $41. And it's weird looking. It's very weird. So it's maybe a pass over here.
I just don't even know. Like they say that, oh yeah, it can tell what your partner's doing on the other end, and then you're able to feel that, and vice versa. But how could you prove that?
I don't know.
There's no way to prove it.
It's just randomly
'Cause
moving.
You can't be kissing both lips
Random.
at the same time, so you can't be you can't compare. It just could be random. That's
Can't you
right.
just save your money and instead spend that on a Southwest ticket?
Yeah,
to go
plane
see
ticket
them?
to go see 'em.
Yeah.
Or you go back and forth.
But
and
this
see
is
each
just
other.
anytime you feel like, man, I really need to kiss. I mean, you could just, your partner could be on lunch break, in the middle of.
little kissy.
Yeah, and you just
me a
always have
kiss.
this with you. And it's like, man, I've just really been missing you.
Okay.
Why don't you
honey.
call me and kiss me?
If that happens, you guys are going to be weirded out. That's all weird.
Red
You have to
flags.
do that at work. They also say that there's a function that you can exchange kisses with strangers.
Oh.
So you
so
can
like a dating app.
you It got weirder.
Yeah.
You can upload your kiss so others can experience what your kiss is
Your
like.
kiss print.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, again, it's just random, though. You don't know you're kissing another person. It's just little things inside the lips that are like, it's like a massage gun or something, just slightly vibrating or whatever.
I'm clicking out on this. It's creepy.
It's not for Nikki.
When you guys see me in the side studio over there, kissing my phone, now you'll know. I'm on a call. Don't come in. I am on a call.
It's my girlfriend.
Yeah, please get out of here. Goodness. There's some privacy.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
There's some privacy, please.
Have you met her? And then
Yeah.
you introduce the lips.
Yeah.
Here, let her kiss you on the cheek.
Let me give you a little kiss. Hudson, come here. Let her kiss you.
Let her say hi.
She's Italian. It's how she says hello.
Oh, they go and do the double kiss?
Yeah.
2 kisses.
Okay, that's a no.
Let this serve as inspiration to make better choices in the new year. The Riot's Worst of 2023.
Now, here's a question that has plagued us for a long time. How many dates do you need to go on before you make it official? Before it's boyfriend, girlfriend time?
Good question. I think that's real dependent on situation.
Okay.
Situational.
Yeah.
I would think if you're both seriously looking for a relationship, that could be quicker than maybe if somebody just got out of a relationship.
Uh-huh.
If you guys are trying to be serious, if you guys hang out a bunch in a row versus like the dates are more spread out. I don't know if there's a plain answer of like 6 dates, then boyfriend, girlfriend, or how it should work.
There's not a number. What about a length of time, though? You got a length of time?
I would say like 7 months.
7. According to Claire Scott, a relationship psychologist, she says 2 months. 2 months is the time where you
Claire
should...
moves a little quicker than I do.
Yeah,
clearly.
Apparently. I think you could be onto something. I mean, every relationship is different, first of all, but also it can depend on how things start. If you're starting on a dating app and meeting somebody completely from scratch, maybe 2 months is a little quick. You hardly still know them, maybe. But if it's somebody that you have already encountered in real life, maybe you know them from school or what, and it starts blossoming into a relationship, maybe then after 2 months, I mean, that could feel like a really long time after you've gone on a couple dates in 2 months, But, I mean, Claire Scott, relationship psychologist, she says you should at least be entitled to answers after a couple months.
That's fair. Having the conversation.
Yeah.
I think you need to go through some seasons together.
Before you can even say, this is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You have to experience the changing of the seasons.
I think you need a seasonal change.
I guess
Because you think about seasons, like how many seasons are there? There's 4 seasons.
Uh-huh.
There's 12 months. It's like 4 months. So maybe they're a little different in the summer than they are in the winter.
They're 3 months. But no, it's a good point. It's a fair point that the way things feel in summertime are going to feel way different in fall. Potentially. That could actually really derail a relationship. Same thing with however it feels in winter compared to spring. That makes a lot of sense.
That's kind of what I think about it. Just because I think the more time, the first like 2 months or 3 months, like you guys are just in like trying to either make them like you or like you're not really being like your true self until I feel like you're a little bit more comfortable with them. And so I feel like even they wouldn't even have a good idea of what you're like until you really feel like they do like you. And then you need to spend some time where you both actually are being your true selves.
Yeah.
And so I think it takes longer than you think.
Yeah. Yet again, I think it comes down to if you're meeting somebody on the apps, it's going to be longer even if you go on more dates in that time than if it's somebody you already had met somewhere else and it starts turning into a more relationship feeling situation. So I guess I was hoping we'd get a hard answer here. I guess not.
I said 7 months.
Nobody's waiting 7 months.
Because if you do 2 months, that's 8 times you guys, like let's say you hang out once a week, right?
Uh-huh.
That's 8 hangouts. You're going to make somebody your girlfriend after hanging out with her 8 times?
I think people could do that. I asked
That's
my wife to
wild.
marry me after getting me 8 times. So.
Somehow, what you're about to hear is nowhere near as bad as Jim the dog's behavior this year. 2023's Worst of the Riot.
Isaiah, you're a pretty big. Would you consider yourself a self-checkout proponent?
Yes.
You love the
I like
self-checkouts.
self-checkout.
And I am as well. I like the self-checkout. For whatever reason, I don't like talking to people. And so I have here a new definitive list of the 8 rules of self-checkout etiquette. I want to see if these are sufficient for you. Since we're both big in the self-checkout aisle. Self-checkout aisle etiquette number 1. Know your skill level. If you don't know how to use the dang thing, then don't go to the self-checkout.
I agree with this because there's certain self-checkouts that are different than others.
Uh-huh.
And so when people struggle with it, then I start getting flustered if I'm behind you. But I always feel that I know what the heck is going on.
Yeah. You
Like,
walk into an unfamiliar store.
Have you ever went to a self-checkout that you didn't feel as if you were capable of running, you know?
Not going into it. And then no matter how many times I've used it, usually by the end, I feel like I'm not.
You want to know the one place, this isn't self-checkout, but it's similar, is when you order off one of them kiosks at Sheets.
Yeah.
If you don't know your way around that thing before you start, you're going to be there for a while.
Oh, that's a maze of mysteries.
It is. And so when my friends walk up to it, I'm like, let me just help you. Let me just put you in the general direction here.
Yeah.
You're going to want to go for the appetizers right there.
Yeah, that's right. Hit the full menu button. Why don't you? Although that might be overwhelming to you. So that's know your skill level, rule number 1. Rule number 2, save your alcohol and other age-restricted items for an actual manned register. Because you're going to have to get somebody to come over anyways.
Scan your ID and whatnot.
I think that...
And you can never rely on the person that's working there.
No, they could... I mean, your light could be flashing. You could be waving your hand.
And they could be in the dairy section for all I know. I have no idea where they're at.
I think that's a fair rule. Depending... I mean, I think many of these are, depending on how crowded it is. If you're going and nobody else is there anyways, then just... I mean, there's probably nobody at a manned register anyway, so you might as well. Next... This doesn't apply to us very much. Know your produce, because you don't just easily get to scan that at a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to know what you're typing in.
Be able to search that.
Yeah, search it. Be honest about it. Don't be typing in the cheapest raspberries when you know full well you've got the organic ones. This is obvious. This is for any checkout. Respect the line. Don't go jumping in. Now, do you notice this at many self-checkouts though? The line is not clear.
Yes, I agree with that. I can't tell if it's somebody who's like just in the aisle, or if it's actually somebody in line, and then everyone's kind of like scattered too. It's never like a straight line.
Yeah,
it's like 3 people clumped up,
and it's a lot of times they'll have like 3 self-checkouts on each side, and then there'll be like another one with the belt now, and
I
it's
hate
like,
the one with the belt.
Is there one line for all of the self-checkouts? Or are we splitting up for each side?
Are some people going to the belt in one?
3 lines? Yeah, it just that.
I used the belt yesterday, and I hate it because it just slides everything down so far away.
Yep.
And then everything all my things are running into one another. Because I go to the store myself.
Yeah.
And I have no one down there on the other end that's bagging it.
Oh, yeah.
And so my chips go down, and then my Listerine's following it up, and all of a sudden my bananas are flying down it too.
Well, see, this is why when you're doing that, you gotta plan your cart in order so you can scan things in order so that you don't have your Listerine crushing the chips.
Yep, exactly.
And busting up
Which
your
I
bread.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was my first time using that one.
Strategize for that.
Didn't like it.
That's when me and my wife go to the belt. We crush it there because there's 2 of us. I'm a brilliant bagger. Next,
she would put you in charge of that. You are the bag boy.
Claim your register promptly. That's obvious. Be nice if you need help. Leave no trace, as in like don't leave a bunch of. Some people like the bags can be just strewn everywhere, for example. And then finally, just leave when you're done. Don't linger. I don't know who does that, but there you have the 8 rules, 8 simple rules for self-checkout etiquette.
Just be quick. If you're quick, then I like you.
Yeah. And it all depends on how crowded it is.
You're listening to The Riot's Worst of 2023.
If you see a bag full of money that's just lying there on the street, seemingly with thousands of dollars inside, what do you do? I'm asking you.
You know what to do.
No, I don't. I based off of this story, I actually don't.
You take it.
You take it, and then?
And then when somebody asks you about it, you return it if they want it.
Okay.
But if they don't come asking, then it's yours.
Finders
That's how it
keepers,
works, right?
Finders keepers.
You're not going to just ignore the bag, and you're not going to, like, you should pick it up like you would like a $20 bill. You look around, see if you know anybody around, if it could be theirs.
Okay.
And if it's not, you just put it in your pocket, and you slowly walk away.
Act like nothing happened.
And
go
then if somebody
spend it as
approaches
quickly
you,
as you can.
then you're like, oh my gosh, I would have returned it to you had I known it was yours. I looked around quickly to see if anybody looked like they were missing a $20 bill, but nobody's face was telling me they were.
Well, this happened in Connecticut, where a man has now been charged with larceny. 3rd-degree larceny.
3rd degree?
Yeah. Is that worse? I don't remember how the degrees work. Is first worst, or is first is the worst? 3rd degree is, I don't know. He was charged with larceny because he found a bag on Placid Street that was full of about $5,000 of cash. And what did he do? He did exactly what you would have done. He went ahead and picked up the bag. He thought he didn't think he literally won the lottery, but he's like, man, I won the lottery. This is all mine. And it turns out it was the town's tax money, a bag that was dropped. It was right outside of a bank. And so he could have just taken it into the bank. But how was he to know? Is what I'm wondering.
You would think like maybe it's one of those like YouTube things where they just leave a bag of money outside of a bank for someone to pick up. And then you was just your lucky day. You got the $5,000.
I'm sure when he was confronted, he probably thought it was a prank, right? Like you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably thought, what? How could this?
How could someone mess up so badly?
Who would drop $5,000, a bag worth $5,000 in it?
Yeah, what schmuck would leave this sitting here?
And then how would
crazy?
And how would that be my fault that they did that?
Yeah, like obviously if I saw a bag of $5,000 sitting there, I wouldn't be like someone left this here on accident. Because if I had a bag that had $5,000 in it, I'd be protecting it with my life. I wouldn't just forget it somewhere. So clearly it didn't mean enough to the guy that was supposed to be carrying it.
Yeah, but I was wondering about this, and the problem is, it was in a bank deposit bag. It was marked with the bank's insignia and contained numerous documents that identified the owner of the contents was the town of Trumbull. So that's like finding a wallet with an ID and a phone number
and not
an
calling
address. It. Yeah, and not returning the wallet full of money.
That's different.
Yeah.
I assumed the bag was just like a sack of cash.
Yeah, I thought it would be just a blank bag, or maybe it had like in the
cartoons
like a dollar sign.
Yeah,
that's what I was picturing in my mind, because I thought maybe it would be unmarked because they don't want to draw attention. They don't want to call attention to look at this giant bag of money, because then
giant sack of money. Yeah,
that would just tempt thieves, and so they might keep it unmarked. But apparently that wasn't the case, and so I guess this guy should have known, and it was right outside of a bank. And so I guess he could have done two things. He could have taken it into the bank, or he could have done what I maybe would have done at that point and just didn't want the hassle and just left it there.
Ooh, that'd have been wild.
Yeah, but
just walking by it?
You know it's not yours.
But wouldn't you take it inside
to see
if they'd like give you a reward?
They're not going to give you a reward.
It feels like they might give you a reward.
Yeah, you want to talk about cartoons. This isn't a cartoon. You don't get a reward.
You walk inside and you're like, hey, it looks like you guys misplaced this bag of $5,000. I'm just doing the right thing. And then the TV network picks it up, and all of a sudden there's a GoFundMe for you.
I don't think. This is real life we're talking about.
You're right. The guy should have just spent it all.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.